Hey everyone, welcome to our channel, S&A Cosplays. I'm Sid.
I'm Al, and we're doing today a video on getting ready for your first con.
So, con experience is super fun, but there's a lot of stuff that goes into it, and con crunch is a beast to try to deal with.
Definitely. One of the main things you have to do for con crunch is do a to-do list. Just say, alright, I need to do A, B, C, D, blah, 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 blah. Get everything all laid out so you know exactly what it is you need to do, and that will make it a ton easier once you're like in that last week to day stretch.
Exactly. And another thing, if you know you're going to work, say, 3 days a week, you're going to do maybe an hour one day, 4 hours another day, you can always adjust what you want to do those days. Say, the 1 hour day, I want to do a bunch of small things that I can bang out really easily. The 4 hour day, do a bigger project and, try to make sure you allot time well, so this way you can make sure you do all of the one thing the same and then continue on from there.
And definitely one thing I always like to do is keep the paint drying or priming, all that stuff, so it has time to dry and set, and do that overnight while you're sleeping so you have time, so you're not wasting time during the day where you can be doing more stuff.
Exactly. Or if you're going to have to do that during the day, make sure you can do that and then move on to something different in the meantime while it dries or cures or whatever you need.
Absolutely. Another thing which is also very hard to do for cosplayers is try to get everything done before you leave.
Yep, I know this firsthand. I know. When we went to MagFest this year, the day that I was cosplaying, I was still finishing my cosplay. So definitely don't do that. Make sure you do not procrastinate. Get your stuff done ahead of time. It will make it easier. It will make your con experience more fun. You'll get to do more stuff. You won't be stuck in your hotel room. And definitely just make sure you don't do that, because the stress of it is just, you don't want to have to worry about that.
However, one thing is, it does happen a lot. I've had it happen where I'm doing it, like I said, we were in a hotel room finishing stuff up before. I was up till I've pulled all-nighters, I pulled close to all-nighters getting stuff done. When the time comes down to it, you should think, okay, how can I cut some corners? One example I have is I did the Snow Cool armor from Legends of Zelda Breath of the Wild. I cut most of the headpiece stuff from it. I didn't have enough fabric, so I made a sash instead of a full shirt. I did a lot of things just to kind of compensate for, I don't have enough time, I can't do this, so I gotta do this right now.
Right, and I did the same thing with my Fate cosplay for MagFest this year. There were a bunch of details that I left out, a lot of stuff that I would have liked to have added just to make it that much more authentic, but I just didn't have the time. So even though it turned out pretty awesome, at the same time, I know that there could have been more to it. So definitely make sure you get your stuff done beforehand, so this way, you have it where you want it, and it's not just like, oh crap, I'm rushing now.
Yeah. Definitely do not want to have that. Ideally, you want to make a costume, bring it to a con, but it never works out that way. If you can, do that. If not,
yeah. Just try to get as much done before you go. If you know that's going to be the case, make sure it's just small stuff, not big pieces that you have to worry about. That will make things a lot easier when you do get to that con and you have to finish up your last few details. Don't make it big things, make it small things.
Absolutely. Another thing, packing. You want to make sure you have everything. I've gone to cons and I've forgotten stuff. I've forgotten parts of my costume. I've forgotten makeup for stuff.
You forgot medications one time. I thought you said you forgot.
No, I almost did.
Oh, okay.
Almost did, thankfully. Yeah. Aside from making sure you pack your essential stuff, your medications, your basic clothing, your toiletries, your all that stuff, wash your ass. Seriously, no one wants to be that person at the con.
Make sure you shower, please.
Bring shower stuff.
Yes.
But the other thing that most cosplayers always bring is a general emergency kit. So, you're going to the con, your prop got dinged up on the way there, a small part fell off, okay, what are you going to do? Usually what I do is, I usually bring a small tube super glue, a hot glue gun.
Yep, definitely a hot glue gun.
Yeah, and then one thing I found, I believe I got it at Joann's, it was like a mini Singer sewing kit.
Yes.
It has just needle and thread, and they have a giant spool of clear thread, because last resort, something's not right, clear goes with everything.
Exactly, and definitely an emergency sewing kit is awesome. Another thing that I recommend, just in case, a lot of cosplays can be kind of revealing, or things have to sit just in a certain place, fashion tape. Double-sided fashion tape will be your best friend in those situations because you can just attach it right to your skin, attach it right to the fabric, everything stays in place, you have no accidental reveals of any kind, and you're good to go from there. But I think you can also use those on fabric to fabric as well, so that's good too.
Yeah, no, it's a good thing to have, but hot glue fixes everything.
Yes.
Super glue just for small detail stuff. And just a spare thread just in case something rips or whatever, you have something there.
Exactly. And if, God forbid, something happens, there are always cosplay repair fairies or repair stations all throughout the con. So if you have an issue, just look for them and they definitely can help you too.
Oh yeah, they will know something's ripped, they'll know the stitch to fix it, this thing's falling off, they'll know what to have. They're lifesavers at cons, absolutely.
Exactly. Or if worst case, if you're in a group or you're friends with another group of cosplayers and you know that they'll have what you need, you can always reach out to them, but I definitely would recommend checking out one of the fairies or the stations first.
Absolutely.
So they definitely will have anything that you'll need. Another thing that you have to worry about with cons is weapons. So you want to make sure that you do not have any kind of actual weapons. Like this beauty right here is pretty much all foam.
Yep.
So they know it's not going to be real. They know you're not actually going to be able to hurt anybody, but they still do weapons checks no matter what. So things that you cannot bring, if you bring an airsoft gun, take out all the guts, take out the trigger, make sure you cannot pull out the magazine if there is one, because that will make your life easier. I know for MagFest there were people that didn't do all that and got theirs taken away. I brought one, but I had taken all the movable parts except for the
stock.
Yes. Thank you. The
stock.
So, but that just folds in and out. It didn't do anything else, but I didn't have a trigger in it. You couldn't remove the magazine for my scar. Like, you had nothing like that. But there were people who did not take those levels of care and they had their weapons taken away. We also had somebody who was denied a weapons check because they brought a wooden bat. Do not bring actual weapons.
Yeah, use common sense.
Yeah. Don't do it. They will take it away. They'll refuse to do the weapons check, and you're just better off not doing that. If you do a foam bat, that's one thing.
Yeah.
You can paint it to look real, but they'll be able to feel that it's foam, but don't bring a wooden bat. No. We had somebody do that at MagFest this year, we saw, and they just immediately said, nope, we're not going to do this. It's not going to be approved. Just take it back to your room, just err on the side of caution.
Yes. And one big thing, always orange tip. This is the general rule sign of this is a fake gun along the side of it's foam and there's no trigger.
Exactly.
But orange tip, always.
Exactly. Like I said before, always err on the side of caution of things. Just because the security guards and you know that it's not real, somebody else could still mistake it. So just make sure that everyone has a good experience along with yourself and just be courteous about that.
Mm-hmm. One other thing with the con is a lot of times you're getting cosplay and it has special shoes for it. Like, for example, I had a pair of combat boots for mine, and they're not great walking around in, so I got insoles for them. And one big thing is wear your shoes around. If you're wearing a special kind of heels for it or something like that, wear them around all day so bring them into work one day, wear them around the house, whatever, so okay, they're not bad, just can't I can't run in these, I can't do whatever, don't get them wet, but just know what the limitations of your shoes are pretty much.
Exactly. And not only that, know what your limitations in those shoes are. For my Fate cosplay, I had to wear heels. They were not great. They could have been worse. Definitely could have been better. So make sure that if you're going to be walking around in them all day, you have something that's not going to stress out your feet, not stress you out having to worry about any of that. If you can fit insoles in your shoes that make them more comfortable, definitely by all means do that. But make sure that you're going to be comfortable all day, because obviously cons are an all-day affair once you're in cosplay.
Almost the entire time, so
exactly.
You gotta make sure your feet are comfy.
Exactly. So just like I said before, just do yourself the favor, make sure you're comfortable. And that goes with your cosplay as well, not just with your shoes. Make sure you wear something that you feel comfortable in, whether it's physically comfortable, mentally comfortable in, whatever it is. Make sure that you're going to be okay in that all day.
Absolutely.
All right, so the other thing, when you book your hotel, depending on the con, sometimes parking is not always the easiest. So we had an issue this year where Our parking did not, for some reason, get included, even though our friend who booked the room had specifically said we have people driving from out of town, and he was one of them. They did not include parking into our hotel fees and everything, so just make sure all your hotel issues are I's crossed, or I's dotted, T's crossed.
There you go.
I can't believe I almost forgot that idiom. But
cross your eyes anyways.
yeah. Make sure your T's are crossed, I's are dotted, make sure everything that you need is taken care of. I know certain cons, when you book the hotels, it's not always the most user-friendly and you're trying to do it quickly, so just make sure you confirm with the hotel how many people are in the room. If there's any kind of fees, if you have additional people, just make sure that you have all that squared away before you go. It'll make your life a lot easier in that sense, too.
And one big thing to look out for, if it has continental breakfast, that is a beautiful thing.
It sure is.
Breakfast is the most important meal of the day, and if it's free included with their hotel, and it's good, or even if it's not that great, it's just there, it's a great thing to have.
Exactly. All you have to do is walk downstairs in that case, and it's right there. You don't have to worry about finding places. You don't have to worry about bringing money or whatever you need with you. That's something that definitely makes life easier.
Absolutely.
At a con. So definitely look for that if you can.
And if not, breakfast bars are great things. They can just storm your cosplay, have one of the snack throughout the day.
Exactly.
Because con food can be expensive, so just breakfast bar every now and again is a great thing to have.
Yeah. Or just bring snacks with you. Yeah. Any kind of snacks that you like. If you like fruit, if you like, chips, whatever you want, bring stuff with you. Because you can just do that too. Keep it in your hotel room. If you need a break, go back to your room, have a snack, and then go back at it again and be out on the floor.
Yeah. One big thing, too, is, like we said, con crunch, stuff happens, you're not going to be fully prepared. Mm-hmm. Sometimes you just have to accept, okay, my costume's not going to be perfect. We're both massive perfectionists.
Oh my god.
And
to a ridiculous level.
Yeah. So we're always like, we need to make sure everything's as accurate as possible there, and then like, hey, it's day of, half my costume's not done. We've both been there. Yeah.
This year.
We've both been there, and it's like, well, shit, what am I gonna do?
Exactly.
So just accept it's not going to be perfect. It's more of a hurdle to get over. That sounds like, oh, whatever, it's gonna be fine. But like, I'm sitting there entire time like, this isn't perfect.
Yes. That's me too, and this year, knowing that my cosplay was not exactly where I wanted it to be, I was really, you can attest, I was really upset about that. I almost didn't even go out in my cosplay, but I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna do it, and even though it wasn't perfect, nobody's gonna notice. Everyone's gonna be worried about their own cosplays, because I'm sure that everyone has things about their cosplay that they're like, oh, this detail's just not perfect, or that's not, exactly how I want it, but people will know who you are if they're into that fandom, whatever it is. They'll know who you are. If they don't know who you are, they may just say that you have an awesome cosplay anyway. Yeah. But no matter what, just go out there, put yourself out there and do it anyway, because once you're in that cosplay, you're going to feel so empowered and so amazing, and it's so much fun. It is so good. So even if it's not perfect, even if it's not exactly how you want it to be, just go out, give it a shot. If after an hour or two you're really self-conscious about it, then, go back and change into your normal clothes. But I'm pretty certain to say that you will feel so much better once you're there in that moment, in the element, around all these other people cosplaying, and you're just going to have an awesome time. Absolutely. So definitely, even if you're concerned about it, if you're anxious, if you're terrified, go do it anyway. Trust me, it will be so worth it. I also have really bad social anxiety. Yeah. I always worry about how people are going to perceive me and everything. So that's something that I was consciously thinking about as I was getting ready to walk over. But as soon as I had everything on, makeup was done, hair was done, everything was good to go, I felt so emboldened and so ready to go, and it was just so much fun. So even if you've got any of those stresses going on in your mind, I highly recommend that you put on your cosplay and give it a shot anyway, because chances are really good that you're still going to have a great time anyway.
Mm-hmm. And a lot of cosplays actually do have rooms for people who will have social anxiety or prone anxiety attacks and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. They will have rooms where you can kind of just go in, just sit down. They're quiet rooms, just hang out, calm yourself down. Exactly. And come back out and whoever it is. And I believe MagFest has. I know a couple other cons do, but it's a great thing.
It definitely is. It definitely
like
is. And another thing, too, is a lot of the cons have groups online where, you know, it'll be all kinds of different people going. I know we were in a few groups for MagFest, and that was really, really useful. Like, you may not meet people in person, but you'll talk to them online. And I know there were several people who put themselves out there. Hey, I've got issues with anxiety. You know, I've got issues with this or with this, and I'm really nervous. But then people were online reassuring them, saying they'd have a great time. A bunch of them scheduled meetups to be like, hey, people with anxiety, let's, you know, we'll talk here beforehand, but let's meet up in person so we know other people there.
Exactly.
So if you're traveling solo, that's a really great way to do it.
Yeah, I've done that. And it's kind of like, I've been to con solo, like, I knew some people there, obviously, but it's like, you're just kind of like, most of the time it's kind of weird. But then you'll make friends, you'll hang out. If you're not like, even if you're just like walking around casually, you can just walk around the dealer's room for hours. MagFest, there's thousands of games to play. You can sit in the game room.
Exactly.
There's tons to do.
Exactly. There's always something going on. There's all kinds of panels that you'll see. I know we did one where I was a little bit nervous going in, but Al was having the time of his life. Pirate Sea Shanties. That was so much fun. One of the best panels, but you know, I was nervous going in. He was super comfortable, but, you know, you kind of have to, you have to push each other a little bit. So if you meet people online before you go, that's a really great way to have somebody there for you. If, say, you're nervous, you could be like, hey, I'm worried about this. Like, and people will talk to you. They'll talk you through it. Don't worry about it. It'll be worth it.
One thing that's also a very good peace of mind thing is, like we said before, the repair fairies, fairy cos parents, fairy whatever, the general cosplay repair people. Sometimes there's a designated table, other times some amazing cosplayers, who we seriously salute you, will just walk around, usually having a sign like above their head saying cosplay repair, or something to that extent, and they'll be like, oh hey, my thing keeps falling off, can you fix it? They'll stitch it on quick. I've seen a bunch of people just on Instagram and stuff that will just carry around repair stuff with them for people in this situation, and they are amazing people.
Yes, they are always super nice. We talked to one of them that was walking around this year, and he was really, really nice. He was great to everybody. I saw him stopping and talking to people when they were like, hey, I'm having this malfunction, can you help me? He was all over it and made sure that everyone was taken care of. So definitely look out for them if you feel the need for that, or if something happens.
Alright, next thing.
The next thing. This should be self-explanatory, but it isn't always.
Nope.
Make sure, first of all, we said breakfast is the most important meal of the day, but make sure you're eating throughout the day.
Yes.
Make sure you take care of yourself, because, you know, you don't want to accidentally have an issue where your blood sugar drops, you have a fainting spell because you didn't eat or you didn't hydrate enough. You don't want to end up with any kind of illness from, you know, not eating or drinking. So make sure you're eating and drinking, hydrating properly. Have fun with everything in between. There's always parties and alcohol involved in cons, but make sure you're taking care of yourself as well. I feel like that should be self-explanatory, but you know, you get so caught up in the moment that sometimes you just don't even think about it. So just make sure you're taking care of yourself as well as having a blast. Yeah,
and one thing, get sleep. Even if you're in the middle of a con crunch, if you're pulling an all-nighter, there's to be a certain point where it'll just be like, you can't function. Lay down for a little bit. You need some sleep. There's a point where you'll be like, but no, I have to keep going. It's more of a detriment to yourself if you don't physically sleep and relax for a few minutes, or like an hour or so. Just lay down for a while. Exactly. Then come back, you'll be more alert, more attentive, and it's a much better thing.
Exactly. Your body needs that time to, you know, process everything that's happened. It needs time to reset itself, so sleep is definitely important in that fact too.
Another big thing with cons, there's thousands of people there. MagFest, I don't know, a few thousand people there.
I think it was like 20-some thousand this year.
It was insane.
It was a lot.
But if you have social anxiety, some kind of like an awkward person where you want to say, just go talk to some people. Hang out, find someone if you have a weird, random fandom, crazy way out there thing, I guarantee there's 5 people at a convention that all share the same thing and would love to just sit and nerd out with you for like an hour about the thing.
Oh, definitely. And look out for people in those kinds of cosplays, because there were things that I didn't know about, but I know I saw a lot of people congregating in similar cosplays, so there definitely will be somebody out there no matter what the fandom is that you're there for.
Another big thing is meetups.
Exactly.
A lot of the like bigger franchises love meetups. There's always like Nintendo ones, Fallout always has a bunch. Stuff like that. We can be like, oh, I'm a fan of these. I can go meet some new people there, hang out, have a good time. Usually they post them. The more official, bigger ones, they post on usually the Facebook page of the con or something like that.
Right.
So now, like, okay, this is going to be Friday at this time. Go there, see a bunch of people with that, hang out, talk. I made a bunch of friends. Like, I have some friends I met at the Zelda meetup from last year's MagFest, who I still talk to this day. We're good friends.
Yeah.
And it's just because they were dressed as Zelda or they were dressed as Link, I was dressed as Link, we're just sitting there talking like, oh my god, I love your dress, I love your thing, how'd you make this? And just go from there.
Exactly. And even if they're not in the same cosplay as you,
No.
if it's something that you know you love, just go up to that person and say, hey, I really love your cosplay. You did such an amazing job. And then just strike up the conversation that way. Trust me, it feels really difficult. He's used to it because he has to do it for his job. He's used to putting himself... Exactly. Whereas I'm much more introverted. But if you put yourself out there, 9 times out of 10, you're going to find somebody awesome to talk to.
Absolutely.
There are always those rude people. I've heard horror stories. Even at MagFest this year, I've heard terrible stories. But,
there's always going to be those assholes.
Exactly. But 9 times out of 10, you're going to meet a really awesome person. You're going to have this awesome bond from this great con that you went to. So definitely, even if it's just, hey, I really like this cosplay, or I really like, there was a girl who was sitting in the video game room. I said, hey, I really love your tattoo. Yeah. We didn't really strike up a conversation because she was more focused on the tournament that was going on, but that's a really great way to, start an introduction. Just notice little details. Hey, great shirt. Hey, whatever it is that you notice, just say that you love it. And
I made a couple friends at con last year. I'm like, holy crap, is that a Motley Crue tattoo? And now we're friends on Facebook and talk all the time. It's awesome.
Yeah. So just, even though it's scary, even if you have social anxiety, just put yourself out there a little bit. It takes practice in order to get better at it, but definitely do it. It's worth it. It's definitely worth it.
Yes. Another thing, this is the most common advice I will always give to someone. It's like, oh, it's my first con, or something like that. If they're staying at the hotel the con's at, or just a general hotel around the con, my advice is always, if it's like MagFest, a Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday con, Sunday's last day, try to have everything packed and most of your stuff in your car Saturday night. Because Sunday, it is going to be an absolute chaotic mess. The elevators are going to take forever to get up and down.
Forever.
Just everyone's going to be trying to get out. Everyone's going to be trying to get all their stuff before checkout. It's going to be insanity. So try to get everything all packed up Saturday night. Get whatever you can get out to the car. If you have like a Sunday cosplay planned, keep that. Change in the car or whatever. But try to get most of your stuff out. The earlier, the better.
Exactly.
Because it is such a headache just trying to get everything all out there.
Exactly.
The last day when everyone else is trying to do the exact same thing.
And not only that, but do not wait until the hour to hour and a half before checkout to leave. I know this year we ended up having a headache with it because none of the rest of our group wanted to leave until the very last minute, but he and I wanted to be out of there by 9 o'clock. But we didn't end up leaving the hotel until almost 10:30, but we waited for the elevators for 15 minutes, and it was just a nightmare. So
sometimes you have to go up to go down.
Yes. Yes, if you have to, use that kind of weird logic. Go up to go down if you have to, especially if you're staying in the hotel where the con is, or if you're traveling to different floors in that hotel.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's easier to go up to go down, or vice versa, go down to go up, depending on where you're going. So just go for the ride if you need to, but definitely for checking out, make sure you've got as much done as you can before that morning. And if you can get out early, because everyone else is going to wait until the last minute too, and then it's going to be this big rush, and it's a nightmare. So try to avoid that as much as you can. It will save you so many headaches and so much trouble. So definitely do what you can.
Absolutely.
And then the last thing is...
most important.
Yes, most important out of all, have fun.
Yes.
Have so much fun when you go to a con. There's so many amazing people that you'll meet. You can meet all these different people that you see online. I know at MagFest, Man at Arms is there every year, and for most of the cons in the Gaylord, they're always there because they're Maryland based, but they are the nicest people for real. Yeah. And they always bring stuff with them, but if you go around the vendor floor, you talk to the vendors there.
Oh my god, yeah, the vendors are the nicest people.
Exactly. Just make sure you have fun, talk to people. If you like the nightclub scene and you like that kind of music, go to the nightclub. You'll meet awesome people there too. You get to listen to great mixes. You know, if you know somebody's having a party or, you know, some kind of an event somewhere, go meet up with other people who are into the same stuff as you. Yeah. Obviously, you're at the same con, so you're probably definitely going to run into people who have the same you know, thoughts and feelings about things as you do. Absolutely. So definitely, you know, put yourself out there, have fun, you know, just relax through it. You don't have to stress about anything. No. You know, it is stressful to cosplay, but, you know, you can take as much of the stress out as you want and just go with it. Go with the flow. Have fun.
Absolutely. So, to review, Con Crunch, it's going to happen.
Yep.
If it doesn't, awesome, congratulations. It's going to happen. You can power through this. You got this. Second thing.
Make sure you finish what you have before you leave, and make sure you pack everything and make an emergency kit too.
Yes, definitely that. Other thing, check your weapons. Always get your weapons checked. If you're not sure, like, oh, I don't know if I should bring this, bring a weapons check. They'll happily tell you yes or no for it.
And regardless, you're going to need to have your weapons checked anyway, because if security sees that you don't have your weapon checked, no matter what it is, they may potentially, you know, bring you over to the security area. Just make sure you avoid that headache, and also make sure you're comfortable in your cosplay, no matter what, whether it's your shoes, whether it's the actual outfit itself. Make sure, you know, you're going to be comfortable, make sure you're going to be in a good place physically, mentally, and emotionally, and it'll be really fun that way.
Absolutely. Definitely get your hotel stuff all situated. Make sure you got parking situated, you know how long you're there, when checkout is. Make sure you got everything down to a T.
Yep, and also make sure you wear your cosplay. You put so much time and effort into it, whether you made it from scratch, whether you got pieces and assembled everything together, no matter what you did, you put so much thought and love and time into it. So it's worth it to wear it, even if you don't feel like it's perfect, even if you know that there's stuff that you left out. Still wear it anyway, because you're going to feel amazing in that moment, and you're probably going to get compliments no matter what, because people are always walking around, hey, I like this, hey, I like that. So just put yourself out there and, you know, do it anyway. You will feel great doing it.
You're cosplaying, learn where the repair stations are, learn where repair people are. Keep an eye out for them. They will be your best friends when shit hits the fan.
Yes, definitely keep an eye out for them. They will be your best friends in those situations. And make sure that you are taking care of yourself. Eat, sleep, drink water, make sure you stay hydrated, have fun with everything else as well, but make sure you're taking care of yourself too, because that is the most important thing at the end of the day.
That, and talk to people, have fun, just socialize. It's a good time. There's thousands of nerds in one place. Just hang out, be yourself, have fun.
Exactly. And that's always the best thing, I think, is,
absolutely,
you know, in your normal life, you may not meet so many people that you know, have the same opinions about things with, whether it's video games, anime, movies, TV shows, whatever. This is a perfect place for you to meet tons of people who have the same opinions as you. So definitely put yourself out there, and make sure on the last day you are ready for checkout. Don't put yourself into stressful situations with that. Don't make yourself wait for the elevators or, you know, trying to get out of the parking lot forever. Just make sure that's all prepared in time, and it will make that last day super, super smooth.
Absolutely. And that's pretty much all we got.
Yep.
This was your first convention, my something's convention, my third MagFest, so I've been there a few times.
Yeah.
And this we feel some, like, I know for you, as I was saying, like, okay, here's some things you should do. And you, as a newcomer, for your first con, do the things I feel as though, as a first con goer, this is like a good, broad, here's things you could do to make your experience easier, better, smoother,
Yes. Definitely. This is definitely something that if you've never been to a con before, if you've only been to a handful of cons before, if you're an experienced con goer, you probably will already know most of this and have, your system planned out. But especially if you're new to cons or cosplaying, this is definitely a good way to get you started. So this way, everything runs smoothly as you're there, whether it's a 1-day con, whether it's a 4 or 5-day con. This way, everything's there, it's done, you're good. This definitely makes life smoother, and especially, like, someone who went to their first con, I feel like this is all stuff that is really important for somebody to know before they walk into that situation.
Absolutely. So, I'm Al.
I'm Sid. If you have anything that you'd like to see us do, whether it's builds, whether it's makeup, whether it's cosplay itself, let us know in the comments below. Like, comment, and subscribe if you have anything else. And we'll see you next time.